We live in a world that often prioritizes logic and intellect. We are taught to analyze, strategize, and think critically. But what about our emotions? Emotional intelligence, often called EQ, is the ability to understand and manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. It's about recognizing and responding to feelings in ourselves and others. This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about harnessing their power. EQ is a key ingredient in navigating relationships, achieving goals, and leading fulfilling lives. Imagine a world where people truly listen to understand, not just to respond, where empathy is the norm and connections are built on genuine compassion. This is the power of active listening and empathy, two cornerstones of emotional intelligence. Empathy allows us to step into someone else's shoes, to see the world through their eyes, and to feel what they feel. It's about connecting on a human level, recognizing that we are all interconnected. When we cultivate empathy, we foster trust, build bridges, and create a more compassionate world. Empathy. It's a word we hear often. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Imagine stepping into their shoes, seeing the world through their eyes, and feeling what they feel. It's about recognizing that their experiences, though different from our own, are just as valid and important. In a world that often feels divided, empathy allows us to relate to others on a deeper level, to see beyond human connections. When we approach interactions with empathy, we create a space of understanding and compassion. The benefits of empathy extend far beyond our personal lives. In the workplace, empathy is essential for building strong teams, fostering collaboration, and resolving conflicts effectively. When leaders prioritize empathy, they create a work environment where employees feel valued, respected, and understood. Imagine a workplace where colleagues take the time to listen to each other's perspectives, where feedback is given and received with empathy, and where conflicts are seen as opportunities for growth. This is the power of empathy in action in a professional setting. Section 3. Stepping outside ourselves. Developing empathy is a journey, not a destination. It's a skill that can be cultivated and strengthened over time with conscious effort and practice. Like building a muscle, it requires consistent exercise. But how do we actually go about developing empathy? One of the most powerful ways to cultivate empathy is to actively engage with people who are different from us. This could mean striking up a conversation with someone from a different background, volunteering in our communities, or simply making a conscious effort to listen to perspectives that challenge our own. Reading literature, watching films, and engaging with art forms that explore diverse human experiences can also broaden our understanding of the world and foster empathy. By immersing ourselves in stories that differ from our own, we open our minds and hearts to new perspectives. Another crucial aspect of developing empathy is learning to regulate our own emotions. When we are overwhelmed by our own feelings, it can be challenging to be present and attuned to the emotions of others. Practicing mindfulness, meditation, or other forms of self-care can help us become more aware of our own emotional states and better equipped to handle the emotions of others. Section 1. The Curiosity Cure. Empathy begins with curiosity. It's about approaching others with a genuine desire to understand their experiences, their perspectives, and their emotions. It's about asking questions, listening attentively, and seeking to learn from those around us. Think of curiosity as a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. Start by making a conscious effort to engage in conversations with people who are different from you. Ask open-ended questions about their lives, their experiences, and their perspectives. Listen without judgment and be genuinely interested in what they have to say. Curiosity involves setting aside our own biases and assumptions. It's about approaching each interaction with a beginner's mind, eager to learn and grow. When we approach others with curiosity, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new understandings, and deeper connections. Section 2. Challenge your assumptions. Our brains are wired to make assumptions. It's a survival mechanism that helps us navigate the world quickly and efficiently. However, assumptions can also be a major roadblock to empathy. When we make assumptions about others, we limit our ability to truly see them and understand their experiences. Take a moment to reflect on your own assumptions. What assumptions do you make about people based on their appearance, their background, or their beliefs? Once we become aware of our assumptions, we can start to challenge them. Section 3. The power of perspective taking. Perspective taking is a powerful tool for building empathy. It involves stepping outside of our own experiences and trying to see the world through the eyes of another person. It's about imagining ourselves in their shoes, feeling what they feel, and understanding the world from their point of view. One way to practice perspective taking is to engage in role-playing exercises. Imagine you're in a conflict with a colleague. Take some time to step into their shoes. What might they be thinking and feeling? What are their motivations? Section 4. Empathy in action. Empathy is not a passive emotion. It's an active choice. It requires us to be present, to listen attentively, and to respond with compassion. It's about showing up for others in a way that is authentic and meaningful. One way to practice empathy in action is to offer support to those who are struggling. This could involve simply listening to a friend who's going through a difficult time, offering a helping hand to a neighbor who's feeling overwhelmed, or donating to a cause that you care about. Section 1. The art of active listening. In a world saturated with noise and distractions, true listening has become a rare and precious commodity. We're constantly bombarded with information, scrolling through social media feeds and juggling multiple tasks simultaneously. It's no wonder that our attention spans are dwindling and our ability to truly connect with others is suffering. Active listening is a conscious choice, a deliberate act of focusing our attention on the speaker and striving to understand their message fully. It's about silencing the chatter in our own minds, putting aside our own agendas, and creating a space where the other person feels heard, valued, and respected. Section 2. Beyond words, tuning into nonverbal cues. We often think of communication as primarily verbal, but the reality is that our nonverbal cues speak volumes. Our body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even our silence convey a wealth of information about our thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Active listening involves paying attention to these subtle cues, as they often reveal more than words ever could. Imagine a friend telling you they're doing fine, but their shoulders are slumped, their eyes are downcast, and their voice is flat. Section 3. Reflecting to understand. One of the most powerful techniques in active listening is reflecting. Reflecting involves paraphrasing or summarizing what the speaker has said to ensure that we've understood their message correctly and to demonstrate that we are truly listening. It's about saying things like, "What I hear you saying is," or "It sounds like you're feeling." Reflecting is not about parroting back the speaker's words verbatim. It's about capturing the essence of their message and reflecting it back in our own words. This shows the speaker that we are not just hearing their words, but that we are also making an effort to understand their perspective and their feelings. Section 4. Silence is golden, embracing the pause. In a fast-paced world that often prizes quick thinking and rapid-fire responses, silence can feel uncomfortable. We're conditioned to fill every pause in a conversation to avoid those awkward moments of stillness. However, in the context of active listening, silence is not empty space. It's a powerful tool that allows for reflection, processing, and deeper understanding. When we allow for silence in a conversation, we give the speaker the space to gather their thoughts, to fully express themselves, and to process their emotions. It also gives us, the listener, time to absorb what we've heard, to reflect on the speaker's perspective, and to formulate a thoughtful response. Silence can be particularly powerful when someone is sharing something difficult or emotional. The power of presence, cultivating focus in a distracted world. In the age of smartphones, social media, and constant notifications, our attention is a scarce and precious resource. It's all too easy to be physically present in a conversation while our minds wander to our to-do lists, the latest news headlines, or that funny meme we saw online. However, true active listening requires more than just lending an ear. It demands our full presence. Think about a time when you could tell that someone wasn't truly listening to you. Perhaps their eyes glazed over, they kept checking their phone, or their responses seemed distant and disconnected. It's likely you felt unseen, unheard, and unimportant. Now, contrast that experience with a time when someone gave you their undivided attention. The difference is palpable. Asking to understand the art of inquiry. Active listening is not a passive activity. It's a dynamic process that involves asking thoughtful questions to deepen our understanding of the speaker's perspective, clarify any points of confusion, and encourage them to elaborate on their thoughts and feelings. Asking the right questions can transform a conversation from a monologue into a meaningful dialogue. Open-ended questions are particularly effective in eliciting detailed responses and encouraging the speaker to share more. Instead of asking yes or no questions such as, "Are you feeling okay?" Try asking open-ended questions that invite the speaker to elaborate, such as, "Tell me more about how you're feeling or what's been going on." Section 3. Navigating emotional landmines. Active listening when the stakes are high. Active listening becomes even more critical when we're navigating emotionally charged conversations, such as resolving conflicts, addressing difficult feedback, or supporting someone who's going through a challenging time. In these situations, our ability to listen with empathy and respond with compassion can make all the difference. When emotions run high, it's easy to get defensive, to interrupt, or to offer unsolicited advice. However, these reactions can escalate the situation and damage trust. Instead, strive to remain calm, centered, and focused on understanding the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Validating the speaker's feelings is also essential in emotionally charged conversations. Validation doesn't mean agreeing with the speaker. It simply means acknowledging and accepting their feelings as valid. Empathy and active listening in action. Imagine a world where empathy and active listening are the norm. A world where people seek to understand rather than judge. Conflicts are resolved peacefully. Relationships are strengthened. This is the world we can create, one act of empathy at a time. Embracing empathy transforms our lives and inspires others. Our actions create ripples, influencing families, workplaces, and communities. Think about those who embody empathy and active listening. A parent who listens with an open heart, a friend offering a shoulder to cry on, or a colleague who ensures everyone's voice is heard. These individuals are active agents of positive change. Section 2. The gift of understanding, the transformative power of emotional intelligence. In a world that often prizes speed, efficiency, and tangible results, it's easy to overlook the importance of emotional intelligence. We may be tempted to view empathy and active listening as soft skills, as luxuries that are secondary to the more practical demands of our daily lives. However, the truth is that emotional intelligence is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's the foundation upon which we build meaningful relationships, navigate complex situations, and lead fulfilling lives. When we invest in developing our emotional intelligence, we unlock a treasure trove of benefits. We become more attuned to our own emotions, better able to manage stress and navigate challenging situations with resilience. We develop stronger empathy for others, fostering deeper connections and building trust in our personal and professional relationships. We become more effective communicators, able to express ourselves clearly, listen attentively, and resolve conflicts peacefully. Section 3. A call to courage. Embracing the journey of emotional growth. Developing emotional intelligence is an active pursuit that requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to challenge our own assumptions. It's about stepping outside of our comfort zones and confronting uncomfortable truths. This journey of emotional growth is not always easy. It requires us to be present with our emotions and embrace the messy, imperfect nature of being human. There will be times when we feel overwhelmed or unsure of ourselves, but it's in these moments of discomfort that we have the greatest opportunity for growth. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the birthplace of courage, connection, and authenticity. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to deeper connections and greater self-awareness. The journey of emotional intelligence is about continual learning, growth, and self-discovery. It's about showing up each day with an open heart and a commitment to empathy and understanding.